Alrighty, everybody, here we are, and what we're doing is we're taking a look at, we're doing a little bit of laser engraving right now, and we're trying to finish up on this metal engraving that we got going on, and we're getting pretty darn close. So, with that being said, we want to go over some information, and because it has been, this has taken a lot longer than what we thought. So, yeah, it's been 6 hours and 30 minutes, and yeah, we're over by like an hour and 30 some odd minutes. So, yeah, this has taken a little bit of time, and so far, so much time, the fact that I shaved, started to make myself look pretty, took a shower, the whole 9 yards, and did that. But going back, we're almost to the end, and we're getting pretty close. If we can see there, and what we'll end up doing is showing you kind of a little bit of a summary of what we ended up doing. But let's take a look at Lightburn, and we're using Lightburn, which is a software package, and I'm using the trial version. It's a trial version for 30 days, and it's probably one of the top software, laser engraving software things going on, and it's very cool that you're able to use it on a trial basis, and everything is unlocked. So there's no limitations. You get to play with all the bells and whistles, and it ends up being, it's great. I love it. So with that being said, that's what we're doing. That's what we're engraving. So what we did is we found, and I got a Warhammer type figure there, and what we ended up doing is going to imageR.com, and so we're going to take a look at that. And that is not that. Let's see, where are we? We are there. Okay. So on this imageR, and it's spelt a little bit different, imag-r.com, and you can do some free uploads and downloads and adjusting your images. So what you can do is you can just drag and drop. There's like 6 different steps to this. So we've got upload, you can crop, you can resize, you can add text, you can choose the material that you're going to engrave on, which is really helpful. And then you could download the image in either a BMP, JPEG, or PNG, and I usually do the PNG. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at a graphic and just kind of run over real quick. This is a graphic that I have, and it's pretty nice. So yeah, we're gonna use that one, and what we'll do is we'll right click on it, and we have some quick actions. And one of the quick actions is to remove the background. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And boom, there we go. So it'll just say, let's just call this, let's just leave it what it is. Well, test soldier. And it will be background removed, because I got a ton of files in here. So what we'll end up doing, now that we've got that, what we can do is take this file and we can drag it onto the page here. So you just pull it, drag it, drop it, and we don't need to worry about that anymore. And as we scroll down, there is our image. So the next thing, since we uploaded it, now we're going to go to crop, because there's some areas on here that we want to get this as close as we can. And that way we don't have any wasted space. Yeah, we get the most bang for the buck out of this. So we're just going to do that, and then you scroll down, and you could round the corners if you wanted to, you know, to really get it close. Dang it. Okay. Something like that. It doesn't really matter, but if you have a round object, it's kind of good to round the corners. So we're going to go with that, and we'll just hit crop, and that will process the image. It'll make it a little bit easier if you have a smaller engraving space. And then you could resize it if you want. We're not going to do anything. If we wanted to add some text, we could do that as well. We're going to skip that, and we're just going to go straight to our material. And we can go to old, creates cartoony look through sharp edges. Norton, it'll get mostly used on diode lasers, so you have these different options. You know, the CO2 laser, the Banning, Marson. You know, I haven't really used, you know, pencil sketch, things like that. I just kind of went with the old because that seems to work out well. And what we ended up doing is anodized aluminum or aluminium, and we got that. And here is where we have the graphic that we had, and this is going to be the output for our metal engraving. So basically we have a piece of metal. This is like steel, but it's coated with a coating on here, a dark coating. So what this does is reverse the image, and it'll engrave the opposite of what we have. Now we can go through here and we can do some adjustments on this. And basically, you know, you could end up doing like the contrast to make the darkers a little bit darker, and you could do gamma adjustment to kind of do that, and you could play with the brightness. Now, if you increase the brightness, what it'll do is actually increase the darkness of what we have because it is a negative image. So if we go the other way, notice how it will lighten that object up. So you could end up doing that, and you could say, okay, well, that's good enough for what I want. And then you could play around with doing the one touch. A lot of times the one touch, it does okay, I guess. You'd still have to play with a little bit of the brightness and the contrast to try to get and bring those details out. But anyway, so that's what you end up doing. And once you're happy with your graphic, then what you could end up doing is you could preview with the material. It'll load this up and it'll actually show you what it will look like. So that's kind of an important step right there, to be able to see that you're getting the details and everything that you want on that darkened metal, the painted metal or annealed metal or whatever it is, aluminum, and you're going to get a good detail on that engraving. So yeah, I think we'll just close that out, but that's what we ended up doing, is using that program. Now, online program. It should be noted that you can do a number of other things. You can do contour, you can do puzzle, masking, vectorizing, a bunch of other stuff on here online. So that's kind of cool. But what we're going to end up doing, and they've got free engraving laser files, free laser engraving files. If you can check out that group, they got some good stuff on there. I was checking that out and downloading some pictures and stuff. And what we'll end up doing now is taking a look and seeing how far we've progressed on our engraving, which is getting pretty darn close. So if we take a look at, let's just move this over to the side, and we will grab our picture here. And you can see on the engraving, we're getting pretty darn close. See if we can make this bigger. But you can see we're towards the top end, which is about up there. And notice how the laser is blinking on and off at times. Then it shoots over to the sword, and then it kind of goes off and on. So it's skipping some parts. So we're probably right along. What I would say would be, let's bring this over here. We're probably right in this area here. So we still got a little ways to go. It's probably coming around here, and then we have this here. But once we get past this mass here, it should go a lot faster. And it's been taking some time, that's for sure. So it's just a simple process. You could also get that imageR.com. They have a online version, or you could pay money and you could have a monthly subscription, which I hate. I hate monthly subscriptions. I really just those things are not cool. I don't like monthly subscriptions. They have a yearly subscription, then they have a pay one price, but it's like $240 or 400 and something. It's absolutely insane, but that's a lifetime of use. So, but you get free downloads and you can do it for free. And if you're just doing a little hobby stuff, then it's not going to be that much. So for, you do your free little cuts and stuff like this, it'd be good to go. Now, it should be noted that you can also do the same thing. You could adjust the image that you bring into Lightburn. So if I click on this and then I right click, and what I could end up doing is adjusting the image. So down here we have different modes of the threshold, ordered, Atkins, dither, Stuckey, Jarvis, newsprint, halftone, sketch, and grayscale. So we can change those, and you can see the difference between and you guys you don't even know what I'm doing. What am I doing? Craziness. Okay, let's start over. Sorry, apologize for that. So you could click on your image here, and then if you right click on it, you go down to adjust image. See how that works when I do what's supposed to be done? And you'll have the original image over here, and then you'll have the adjusted image here. So you can do the negative, which would bring it back to normal, but it's already set in negative over here. But you could play with the different image modes with dither, Jarvis, newsprint, all of those things. And usually dither has been giving me the best results. Maybe Stuckey and Jarvis. It all depends. You got to find what works for you and your material. But for this material that I'm doing in the steel that's coated in this kind of green colored paint or whatever annealing it is, the dither seems to work out pretty well. So over here we can change the contrast, the brightness, the gamma, enhance the radius or the amount, enhance amount. So if we increase the contrast, and it will end up changing that. So we can really increase it, or we could decrease it. And again, you can see the results from the original image to what you want. So, and then you could always go back to 0 with these two settings here, and the bottom one for gamma is set to 1. So that's going to be your default. But if we increase it, then we can get a little more black in there. So maybe we'd want a little bit more of that paint done. So again, you could play around with this. I find that I don't get the same results as I do with the image R, and it is what it is. And I think, are we done? I think we're done. Are we? I think we are done. Alrighty. This perfect timing. Perfect timing. So what we'll end up doing is taking a look on our many-hour print. And we can see, we hold that up there. There is our print. Is that hot or what? That turned out really, really good. It didn't get it as centered. Well, I got it as centered on the image itself, but not the hole in the center of the item. But man, that turned out really good. Alrighty. Man, that is nice. Now I increased the speed on this compared to the previous one that I had done before. So we've got a very slight color variation, which is very interesting. So we got a little bit more of a sepia color on this one here. So if we can get this to focus in, kind of see how it's kind of got a sepia looking color to it. A little sheen, I guess you could call it. And this one here that we just printed out, it's still got a little bit, but it's a little bit more silver. But we can see the details on that, and that came out awesome. That is incredible. I like that. So, man, kudos to that. And in case you're wondering what this is, or what these are, basically this is a base, or these are bases for some painting stands. So if I have a miniature in this little stand right here, and it'll tip over, so if I set it onto the base, which has a hole in the bottom, then it doesn't fall over. So I just want to do a little bit of a decoration thing, and man, that came out hot. I like that. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So that's what we ended up doing and getting some great results with that. So the whole thing with the laser engraving on metal, again, what we ended up doing is we got an image of a Warhammer-esque type of figure, and then what we ended up doing is taking it into the image R, and it is spelled actually I-M-A-G. Come on now, we don't have the whole page. imag-r.com, and that's where you can drag your photo in there, and then you could, you know, do the steps of upload, crop, resize, add text, pick the material that you're going to be doing, and then make some adjustments, some little tweaking, and then you could download that picture. And then what we ended up doing is bringing it into Lightburn, which we did here. We adjusted the size to our engraving area, which just happens to be about the same size as what we ended up here. And boom, that ended up killing it. So yeah, that is just some great detail on there. So I am very pleased with this, but it did take a long time. So we're looking, it was supposed to be like 5, almost 6 hours, ended up being like 7, 8 hours, something like that. So the estimation time was a little bit off, but I'm very happy with the results. So there's a lot of stuff you can do in Lightburn. Let's go ahead and we will, I can delete that. And what we'll end up doing is we'll bring in our recents. And to kind of show you, let's go back to our drive, and we'll go to other, we'll go to our art, and we'll go to our Warhammer, which I have a bunch. And let's drag in something that looks kind of cool. Of course, it all looks cool. Let's see. Do we want a big chunky boy? A chunky boy? Yeah, we can do a chunky boy. Let's bring chunky boy in here. And this has got some great details on here. Now, obviously, this is it seems like every object I bring into here is way huge. So a great way to do this is go up towards the top where you have the width and the height, and notice that it's locked, so it'll keep the aspect, whatever it is. And our width, if we set this to 75, now this will get it into a more manageable position. And what we could end up doing is actually going up at the top of the far right, and where it says move to center of the page or wherever else, and boom, it's to the center of the page. Now, instead of scrolling and doing all that or using a trackpad, I could go up here to the top where we have that, and it'll fill or populate that part of the screen as much as possible with our graphic. So that's our chunky boy there. And what we're going to end up doing is we're going to go ahead and we're going to right click, and we can adjust the image. So if we are going to do some more metal engraving on that same darkened steel, annealed, painted, whatever, we would want to do a negative image, and we would want to do, which I forgot, what we would want to do is to actually, now I've got to go back and do all this stuff again. Lightburn, other, that, Warhammer, and there's our chunky boy. And what we would end up doing is right-clicking on that, at least with a Mac, and you remove the background. And we'll just call this test chunk. And what we could end up doing is taking our test chunky boy, and we'll drag him in. We'll do the same thing. set the width to 75, and we'll put them on the center of the page. We'll populate as much as that will go. And now what we can end up doing, imagine that, is the image is selected, and we'll go to adjust image. And now we can go through and say, hey, well, if we want to do a similar type of engraving on a dark metal or a dark material, we could go ahead and do the negative, and our DPI set to 508, which is good. And we could go through and we could check out and say, well, what does it look like in Jarvis? And you can see not much has changed. If we go to like newsprint, we can see a change there, which, you know, you could do sketch. That could work out. Sketch could work out. What about grayscale? Probably not. Probably wouldn't look good on there. But if you're doing pictures and maybe that, how about Stuckey? Atkinson? Ordered? Threshold? You'd have to play with that. So, but again, you could come down here to the color and the brightness, and yeah, I don't think that would work with the threshold because that's basically just black and white. So we'll go back down here to dither, and as we play with the different settings, we want to kind of adjust and balance between, you know, the contrast, and because we don't want it too dark, but we want it dark enough so that we can get that image on there. And then of course brightness, we don't want it too bright because then it fades out, but we don't want it too dark. So you got to find that happy medium so that you can see the details. And then of course you could play with your gamma. Yeah, that probably wouldn't be a good thing. And if we go the opposite way, it gets too much light. So this is where you can really dial in and get your image basically dialed in. Enhance radius. What does that do? I don't really see a difference in that. Enhance amount. Well, radius, let's just go up to that. And then the amount. Ah, okay. So we got a little bit more. Oh, that could work. So you set your enhance radius, and the amount of your enhancement is on this one here. So we can go to that. So we have 0 all the way up to 50. Let's just take it to 25 and play with that, and we can, oh, that could be nice too. But we can see where it kind of peters out, and then we could go up to like 35 and play with this a little bit more. Okay, this could be interesting. This, you might not need the image R. Interesting, interesting. Let's just see what the, so yeah, wow. Okay, I'm pretty impressed. Let's bring this up to 40. You can see just kind of the differences that we get. That could work. So about 840 on the hands and the radius, and then you could play around with your contrast to really get in some details. So if it starts washing out those details, bring it back, but you don't want it so dark. Oh yeah. You might not need the image R if you have Lightburn. You learn something new every day. Wow, okay. There you go. Now you have two options. You can use the Lightburn, or you can use that image R online. But since this is already included, that is a damn fine picture there. Wow. So let's go ahead and let's see if we got everything else. Inner line interval is 0.05, which is what I normally do. And we set that, and boom. So now that that picture is set, and we've got it at 150 at 100% power, we don't have air assist, we've got all our DPI, it's on dither, and we're good to go. And what we could end up doing is going to this top one, click on that, and that will show us our engraving. So we can see what it's going to end up doing is going back and forth until it gets that whole thing there. Wow, that would look nice. So yeah, I definitely like that. That right click, adjust image, and you can see what the result is right there. Kind of like with that image art. Okay, cool. I like that. Being new to engraving, learning something new every day. Huh. So, with that being said, there's a lot of things to learn on this software, obviously, and with engraving, but hopefully these videos will help and show you how you can do some of these things and going over and seeing some of the results. So somebody who is brand new to engraving, like me, yeah, it's a doable thing. So if you have a little bit of computer savvy and you can read and follow directions better than me, you should be able to do well. So yeah, some good stuff there. Now some other things that we're going to end up doing is doing some more, because these turned out so well, and I ordered some slate coasters, which will actually, as you can see there, it ends up, these are 4 inches, and I should be able to put these graphics onto this slate because it's a dark slate. These should come out poppin' mad hot. I don't know if that's a phrase. Maybe we can make it poppin' mad hot. But we're going to run with that, and we're going to, first we're going to do a test pattern on this, so I think we'll do this tomorrow or the day after, but we will do a test grid on our slate to find the best settings for the slate, and we'll run it on the back of one of these. I've got like 12 of these, so we'll do the test on the back, and hopefully we'll just need one test, and then we will do a practice on the front side of this, and we'll see what we get. But I'm thinking I'm going to have some Warhammer coasters, and they are going to look mad lit. So I think those will work out really well. And of course, the wife has already seen that I got the coasters, and she wants some coasters with some daisies and flowers and, stuff that we could show in front of company. And then I'll just keep my coasters for my Warhammer and kill, death, skulls, and all that stuff. I'll keep that in my room. So, but yeah, that's what we got going on. So anyway, great results with the metal engraving, and we used imageart.com and Lightburn with our Wainlux K10, which is a 5-watt laser. It is a 5-watt laser. It is a Barney basic laser, and it's made out of plastic. It's cheap. It's light. It doesn't cost much money. I think it's like $100 or $250 or something. You can find it on Amazon. I think we'll have an Amazon link down below. But let me pull that up real quick. But I do know, and I will say this, let's see, Wainlux K10, and just to show you what I'm talking about here, why does my overlay, I don't know, maybe I have to do that. Okay. So let's get rid of that. So here it is, and this is the little rinky-dink 5-watt laser. Yeah. With that, it's $249, and then they also have a 3-watt version, which is like $199 or something like that. But yeah, it is a small little laser. The 5-watt is about twice as fast as the 3-watt, so that's kind of good that I got that. Good engraving. Supposedly the dot size is 0.15 by 0.08. So yeah, that would be awesome to get that type. I need to, again, dial it in. But for $250, it's not bad. The 3-watt is, what does that come out to? $189. I do have a link that you can click on to get this, and there will be a little kickback that will come to me. It doesn't come out of your pocket. But I will also tell you that this can be found online at other places cheaper. So I would suggest paying cheaper than using my Amazon link, just to be 100% honest with you. So if you go ahead and do that, look online and find for a cheaper version. If you have like, I think I've got like some kind of weird cheaper, I don't know, like coupon or coupon checker or whatever. Usually it pops up, it'll say if it'll find a cheaper version of this, but apparently it doesn't. So at least not now. But look online, you can find it cheaper, and don't spend a ton of money. Get a good deal on whatever you're going to buy, and if you use my link, that's great. But I highly suggest you get it cheaper somewhere else. I don't care if I get the kickback. But if you've enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. And also, if you really enjoyed the video, or you appreciate it, or you're going to go get this, and you get it at some other website for cheaper, because I told you to do that, and you save some money, then you can always buy me a coffee, which is in the description box down below as well. And I'd appreciate that. All proceeds from buying me coffee won't really go to coffee, but they'll go to more materials, kind of like, you know, the wood, the board, the glass, the slate coasters and things like that, to make more videos and show people how to do this fun hobby laser engraving stuff. So, but yeah, if you don't buy me a coffee, that's absolutely cool too. Just please like and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that, because it would help with the YouTube algorithm. So with that being said, we finished up, and one last look at our engraving that we did, and booyah, there it is. So it took about 6-7 hours, 5, 6, 7, about 7 hours on that, but you can see the details. That came out great. I mean, that's incredible. I think that would look kick-ass on a coaster. And here is the one that I did before. This is my first one. So we got kind of like the blood angel on there, and same process. And you can see it's kind of got a little bit of a sepia tone to it, because it was a little bit faster than what we did with this one here. So we went a little bit quicker on the speed. So anyway, that's what we ended up doing. And yeah, you can check out my channel, The Varied Life. I'm Steve, the retired hobby tech guy, because I'm retired. I like hobbies. I used to be a technician guy, a tech guy in my prior life, along with military and shooting guns and blowing up stuff and all of that. And now I've left that all behind, and I'm retired overseas here in Korea. So leave a comment in the comment section down below. Would you? I think I'm gonna do the slate next. So we'll do the slate and we'll do the test, but I have a knife blade that I'm thinking about engraving with, kind of like that, what is it? With the etching on here, because I've etched a few things on here, or engraved a few things on here that turned out well, and it's just a Gerber folding knife. And what is it called when the like the samurai swords with the folded not the etching. It's right on the tip of my tongue. I can see it. I can almost spell it. Dang. But anyway, so do I do the coasters with the hot Warhammer things, or do I do the knife blade? Put it in the comments section down below, but I'm leaning heavily more towards the cool Warhammer coaster thing. That would be cool. So that's what I'm leaning towards. But if everybody votes in and says, hey, do the knife blade, then yeah, I'll do the knife blade. But I really want to do the Warhammer stuff. Okay, so that's going to be it. Also put down where you're at in the United States or around the world if you're watching. I would like to read the comments and say hi to you and know where you're at, because I'm retired here in Korea and it's interesting to see where everybody else is in the world. So with that being said, we're going to close this out. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate that. It warms the cockles of my heart, as the old people used to say, and we will see you on the next video. Peace. Yeah, that.